Hi, I'm Susan Dubois, owner of Treenway Silks. We've done the videos about how to make a piece of silk fusion, and this is the standard 3-layer piece of silk fusion, color on the front, natural on the back and the middle. But now that we've done that and we've created pieces, there's other fun things that we can do with silk fusion. One thing people really like is creating texture. And how you do this is really simple and actually quite magical also. I have here on the table a piece of silk fusion that I've made just the usual way, north-south, east-west, north-south layer, a little fun stuff. Put the screen on it, do the water and the textile medium, and it's ready to dry. But now to create texture, before it's ready to dry, I take the screen off and I lift up the piece of silk fusion and then scrunch it when it lays back down again. So if my piece of silk fusion had silk go beyond the edges of my screen, which mine always seem to do, then as I lift off this screen, I'll be really careful to make sure that I keep the silk down and lift this across. And now, this is fun. This is like magic. The first time I saw this, I could not believe it. So you know all those layers that we had and how thin they are, but you can lift it up and it all holds together. I just think this is magic. And then when you set it back down, you kind of scrunch and you scrunch. And you can mess with the folds to be any way you want to. Scrunch it a little, scrunch it thick, move it around. I like to take the top piece of silk or the screen and mush it down and then lift it off again to kind of see if I like how those little folds were. And let's scrunch a little bit more here. There you go. Move that guy off the side since he's a little natural edge. And then I'm going to choose to put the screen back on the top as it dries. That way, if any of my little kitty cats want to walk across it, it's not going to create a problem. So we will let this dry and then we'll come back. Now it's dried for 24 hours. You might need 48 hours if you're in a more humid climate. This top screen just comes right off because we lifted that off before we scrunched it. Then the bottom one, still have to do a little pulling to lift it off, but it basically just slides off. Now, with the piece of silk fusion I showed you yesterday with the crinkle, this is the very first one that we did, and this piece has been done, oh my gosh, probably nearly a decade ago. And we were using the textile medium like we use for our silk fusion, but that does not leave a permanent fold to it. So over time, those folds kind of accordion out. So we've played with ways to be able to make those folds a little bit more permanent. And here's an example. After it was on this piece, we still use the textile medium to make our silk fusion, and we've done that with every piece so far. But when it was done, we took the textile medium and sprinkled in just a bit of glitter, because I love a little bit of glitter, and then brushed that over the crinkled top and then heat set it again, and that makes the folds a little bit more permanent because you've heat set it with textile medium on top of the folds. The other option that we can do is if we want to make certain that they stay really, really, really hard, is that we can use the gloss varnish. As you can tell, this is my bottle from my workstation, and so it's a little bit messy. Gloss varnish is still soap and water wash up, but this is a polyurethane, and however the silk is when it dries, that's how it's going to be. There's no ironing it and moving it around. So I pour in just a little bit. Love my glitter, so I'm going to sprinkle in just a touch. And this is like the ultra, ultra fine glitter. I find, personal opinion, the finer the glitter, the more interest that it gives to the piece. Taking my brush, stir it up, and now I will brush over this crinkled piece. The gloss varnish is a little bit thicker, so I want to be careful as I brush it so that I make certain it doesn't create blobs of varnish in the valleys. And brush that across. You may not be able to see it with the camera, but I can see that there's just a little bit of glitter showing through, and it will show through more once it is dried. Brush all of this on. And then allow it to dry. When you've used the gloss varnish, you do not heat set it. Being a polyurethane, it's going to give off fumes, which are not healthy. So make certain it's flat in the way you want it to be, allow it to dry, and then this piece is good to go, and those crinkles will stay in there permanently.